Hey everyone, me again. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's watched the Top Dead Center and Valve Clearance videos. Fully understand that they're a bit long and we're full of mistakes, but that's okay. You can mess up when you're doing this, and that's kind of what I'm trying to illustrate, is that you don't need to get things right first time around every time. It's an imperfect world and people are allowed to make mistakes. If you make mistakes, that's the only way that you're going to be able to learn what you're doing on these things. No one's ever going to get everything right first time all the time, so just be comfortable that you can screw up. You can always fix it, as you've seen, and if you're happy with that, then you're going to actually have a lot more fun doing what you're doing, rather than getting really frustrated and annoyed with yourself and maybe losing interest in doing something with the projects. So yeah, cheers, thank you very much. Probably going to have to start getting a run sheet of things I want to talk about. If you're curious, yes, I have more than one red flannel. Big W sells them for $9 a pop, and it's winter here in Brisbane, and I like wearing flannels. So yeah, that's it. Just thought I'd explain that because I realised they've been in the same coloured shirt. I've got like 3 of these ones and a whole bunch of different colours, but yeah, anyways. So basically this little vid, hopefully I'll be able to keep it under the half hour. This is just to say thanks for watching the other ones, and to talk about what I've got coming up, and maybe getting an idea from you guys about what you'd like to see. I know I finished off the startup video talking about replacing the fuel line and the fuel filter because I cracked the pipe, so we'll have a quick chat about that, and then the other stuff that I've got planned for the next couple of videos. So we'll go for a walk over. Hope everyone's doing well and staying nice and safe during the COVID stuff, but I hope also that everyone's getting back to work as quick as possible and life continues on during all the COVID stuff. So yeah, as I said at the end of the last one, I'd cracked off, or because of the perish of the rubber for the fuel hose, it had split, so I was actually dropping fuel down here while I was running the engine after the valve clearance video. What I did was just get some scissors and cut the fuel line back to a place on the fuel line that was actually more malleable and not likely to split when I mounted it. So I've just done that as a jury rig up at the moment, but what I want to do is try and get something like this. I bought this for the XT600 build, but the pipe itself is too big to go on here, so I'm planning on doing a video of just replacing your fuel line and getting an inline filter in there, because these don't come with them. So if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. Next after that is probably going to be more to do with the engine and engine tuning again. As I've already stated, I've got the 150 kit, and I just dropped the clip for the fuel hose that I was just showing you, and we want to pick that up there and not lose that. Yeah, back to what I was saying. So I've already done the 150 barrel and piston conversion, and like this is some time ago, maybe it was Christmas actually that I did it. We got back safely up to Brisbane and were able to avoid all the monumental bushfires that occurred in Australia over Christmas. So we got up here nice and safe, and before I had to go back to work while I was on Christmas leave, I did this conversion. Now, I actually recorded that too, because I had an idea back then that I wanted to do something like this. So I've got what is going to be a monumental series on doing the replacement on that. So if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on the Facebook page about that. I was sort of hoping to save that and the videos for that until such time as I'd gone through doing the jets in the carb, and even potentially a carb replacement. I've got a new Oko carb that's coming in the mail. Unknown how long that's going to take to get here because of the COVID restrictions. But what I was going to do was go through the fitting of that, as well as the main jet and pilot jet, and going through the tuning sequence with that. for both of the points of tuning on there, so you can go in on that. So if you want to see that, let us know in the comments below, but that's also going to be dependent on postage times and so on, so I'll keep you up to date with that. What I can do prior to the carb arriving or going through what's happened with this is do a video on the standard airbox, if you can see it in there, and me just doing a replacement of the air filter in there. It's a really easy mod and very cheap that anyone can do themselves. It requires absolutely no special tools itself. All it requires is you getting some new air filter foam, and I can talk through all of that. That's like easy 10-minute video, but doing that modification will immediately improve what you've got going on with the bike itself. So yeah, what are we up to at the moment? Fuel line replacement with inline fuel filter. Talking about doing a carb replacement or replacing the main and pilot jets in there is another vid. A quick vid on replacing your air filter on the inside. And then the other one, which I've already discussed on the page, or put the question out there on the Facebook page, but something that I noticed when I got this bike is that there wasn't a crush ring that goes in between the header pipe and the head of the bike itself, which is a copper little ring that goes on the inside. I've got a bunch more of those arriving in the mail, and I need to replace this one anyways, so I can do a video on that and talk through the benefits of having the crush ring in there, because these bikes get imported to your location without the rings in there. In the same video, I can do a talk about what we've got going on with the exhaust at the moment. So yeah, they're the options for a video or vids at the moment. Please give us a heads up on what you'd like to see in the comments, or hit me up on the Facebook page and tell me what you'd like to see from there. Two other points is I noticed that someone had posted about having issues with their indicators, lights, etc. after the bike was in storage. More than happy to go through my way of trying to rectify those issues and points to look at for that. And I did also notice that there was a comment about the EGR blank, which I'll do a quick little talk through now. So these engines are coming across from China with an exhaust gas reticulation system fitted. Basically what that does is take some of the exhaust gas that's meant to be going out through here, and it pushes it back out through another, I'll call it valve, but it's another way of the exhaust to escape the combustion chamber, and a portion of that exhaust comes back through a reticulation filter and then gets put back into the engine to be used in the combustion process through the connection that's located at the top of this inlet valve here. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in Australia, a 125 doesn't attract attention for emissions standards from authorities after purchase, if that makes sense. Essentially, the engine's too small to be plugging something out into the atmosphere through here that is going to cause issues for the greenies, so to speak, or those worried about emission standards. It's something that's completely different to something like this, which came out of the factory without anything like that and with very little consideration for it, or, which you can't really see in the background, my BT50, which actually does require emission standards regulation because of the amount of byproduct that is created for the functioning of the engine. So coming back to these little beasties, the amount of exhaust gas that's recirculated through is essentially negligible. But what's happened, or what's been created because of the installation of this system, is essentially you're actually losing some of the power of your bang that the engine is creating when the fuel air mixture explodes as a result of the spark plug inside the cylinder itself. So a portion is escaping out here and getting pushed back into the engine itself. So think of dirty exhaust air coming out of here, going through a very simple particulate filter, and then getting pushed back in as hot air to go into the engine to be banged again to create your go, with the rest of the exhaust being pushed out through here. Now, it seems insignificant, and it is what it is. It's emission standards and it's how the engines are made. But my thinking is, for me anyways, because as I've previously mentioned, I haven't used a blanking plate. I've done a grub screw in there. By blocking this off, you're keeping more of the bang inside the engine to push all the internals. So you're getting a small power gain by not allowing that exhaust gas out and back around. And the second effect of that is that you're not then pushing that hot air that may or may not have been cleaned by that particulate filter back into your engine and creating what is probably a less efficient combustion in order for you to get this going harder and faster, so you go that way quicker with a bigger smile on your face. I know for the big cars like that at about 50,000 Ks, if you take out your EGR filter, it is almost completely caked through, and instead of having a hole this big for the exhaust gases to go back into the engine, you have ended up restricting it down to a hole like that because of the amount of exhaust particles that have been trapped in the system. So you are therefore then losing efficiency of air pushing back into your engine and creating a problem with back pressure coming back. I know that sounds complicated, but think of it as you're gumming up something and creating an issue with air not being able to escape efficiently, which then impacts on the ability for the piston to move up and down. That's a quick and dirty Chris way of explaining things. Basically, at the end of the day, take your EGR off. Firstly, it cleans up the engine. Secondly, you get more bang for your buck coming out of here, and your emission standard change is negligible. You won't get in trouble. Actually, I'll caveat that. There is a 90% chance you won't get in trouble from any authorities that are looking at your vehicle, if they even decide to pull you over, about your emission standards, because it's only a 125. Yeah, I've gone up to a 150. Yes, there are people that have got 300s in these frames, but again, it's still negligible in the scheme of things. So the EGR and emission standards were designed for vehicles like that. Other diesels, everyone can Google what happened to Volkswagen with what they did with theirs. But take your EGR out, blank it off how you choose, grub screw or blanking plate that's available from a few different retailers. Ensure that you block off your inlet valve up there so you're not sucking crazy air in that's hot next to the engine or full of muck through there and then putting it into your engine. So that's my take on the EGR. Yeah, any questions, please leave a comment. If anyone disagrees, again, leave a comment. The whole idea of this is to create the conversation and so on. So yeah, just to recap, the next few videos that I'm thinking about is doing the fuel line with inline fuel filter replacement, talking about replacing the air filter in here to improve airflow so you get a better bang inside your engine, carburetor replacement and doing the main and pilot jets, and then doing your crush ring in here so you've got a good seal for air coming out, which means that your bang in here is better. You've got good air coming in, so your bang's going to be better. And then going through a carb tune and main and pilot jet replacement in there so that you've got a better mix of fuel and air coming into here to get a bigger bang to make you go faster with a better smile. In my mind, I'm thinking of doing the fuel line first. As I said, that's too large, so over the weekend I'll go get myself a new one. Do that. So firstly, your fuel coming into your carb's better. Secondly, I was thinking of doing the air filter because then your air coming into your carb's better. and then I was thinking of doing the gaskets there so that you've done all your ancillary stuff and we're leaving the engine parts to the end. I know that's counterintuitive since we've gone through top dead center and valve clearances, but now that we've got it running smart and smooth, we've removed our EGR. We'll then go on to the other bits that we can affect as we go. And yeah, you'll have a little bonus clip attached to this little video. So again, thank you all for watching. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm certainly having a ball talking about the bike and making my mistakes in front of everyone. Again, I'm doing it so you don't have to, but don't be afraid of screwing up. That's one of the things that really put me offside to start with playing with cars and bikes, was that I had this feeling that I just had to get everything right all the time. I had to do it properly. Oop, forgot one thing. There we go. Yeah, make mistakes, learn. It's how it happens. Be comfortable with it. Also be comfortable with the fact that your bike's not always going to be the prettiest one there. Like the amount of times I've rocked up to little group rides and stuff like that, and I've been overly concerned about the condition of the paint or whatever, and then seen something else next to me that's in a lot shittier state than mine, and being like, what am I worrying about? Just have fun with it. They're designed to have fun. 2 wheels is a lot of fun, 4 wheels is a lot of fun, but 2 wheels is a lot more fun, especially because you yourself can do a lot more with it than you can with that. So thanks again for watching. Please leave comments, like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, enjoy. Stay upright, keep the rubber side down, and have fun doing what you're doing. Thanks everyone. A little bit of a bonus. This is the 250cc Zongshen that I got from old mate for 45 bucks. She's a bit dirty. Obviously going to need to get a new Kickstarter for it, give it a clean. It's got compression, good compression, so got no doubts that internals are actually probably going to be pretty good. She just needs a clean. But fuck, here we go here. So apparently what happened, this was mounted to a quad, doesn't have the reverse gear. I did ask him about that and he's like, no, it doesn't. So this is on a quad, using it, and blammo, apparently the chain let go and just fucking shredded everything here. So obviously going to need to get rid of the gasket and get a new side cover and gasket for it. Give it all a clean out, because as you can see it's got fucking shit everywhere. But he gave me a box full of bits too. So inlet, stator, it's pretty fucking nifty to be honest. Few other bits and pieces in here, some gears, starter gears. What have we got there? Unknown. Looks like a bearing of some sort. Should be fun. And then got this box as well. So like I said, he gave it to me for 45 bucks for the engine. Drove up to Harvey Bay to pick it up, and then he chucked the rest of this stuff in. So that's the CDI that came with it. I think I'll just be getting another Michael B special, I think, with that one. And we've got, I believe, is a bunch of magnetos and starter gears, that sort of thing. He just had these on his shelf in there, in his workshop. Cripes. Oh, there's magnets in there. Oh, things to play with. Lots of fun to be had. That one probably looks like the best shape of all of them, I think. Oh look, more marks for, I think it even says CG125 on it. That's interesting. Oh, enough of that. It's time for a beer and for you guys to keep laughing at me. Thanks.